Hi, I'm Karina, and right now I'm in a pretty unique class at my school called TED. And so far, one of the things that we've done is we took a test in Tom Rath's StrengthsFinder 2.0. And for this test, you answer about 120 questions or so. And after you answer all of them, it comes up with your top 5 themes and what your strengths are. And it gives you this detailed report about how these apply to your life and how you can use them and not view them as negative characteristics, but actually improve your life by being aware that these are your strengths. And I'd taken tests similar to this before, but I'd never really cared about them. We had to do it for school, and I just never took the time to actually study what my answers were that they gave back to me. But in this class, we've spent a lot of time finding the phrases that stand out to us and trying to apply each strength to our lives and it took me a while to realize that some of the things that they were saying, maybe how they phrased it, I didn't think that was one of my strengths, but if I really looked into the little report that they wrote about that specific strength, then I found that it actually was pretty accurate to the things that I'm good at, or what makes me feel good after doing, or what I look forward to doing. So, my top 5 strengths were communication, adaptability, strategic, empathy, and activator. So, I'll just go over each one and talk a little bit about it and relate it to myself. So, my first strength is communication, and this, I kind of thought that it is true that I'm a very talkative person and I like to speak, like, I like to be around people and express my emotions in words, but I don't know if I've exactly figured out how to express myself correctly. I often do it in too many words. So, the exact general definition of communication is people who are especially talented in the communication theme generally find it easy to put their thoughts into words. They are good conversationalists and presenters. And it says that I value what others have to say and I pay attention to the observations that they make. And I think this is pretty true because most of what I get out of life is from the conversations and interactions that I've had with the people around me. So without those relationships, I wouldn't have gotten as much out of my life as I have thus far. And it says that I'm especially intrigued by people who carry on conversations about theories, concepts, or philosophies. This is definitely really true because I oftentimes zone out of, like, not as important conversations, but things that really interest me that might be more complicated, I always pay attention to and try to partake in. And I always like to be a part of the conversation. I never like to just sit around and listen. And it says this, and it says you probably want to share what you know with others. And that's definitely true. I know that everybody knows that about me. I'm always expressing what I think and what I've recently learned. And ever since I was a little girl, I've always wanted to, like, after school I'd come home and tell my mom all about everything. And for a while I thought, like, people aren't supposed to do that. That's a weakness of mine. I always have to tell everyone what I've learned or what I'm excited about. But this test really made it clear to me that that's actually one of my strengths and it's not a weakness or a flaw of mine. And that it's kind of cool that I'm able to share with others the things that I've learned. And it says that I do well in roles that require me to capture people's attention. And I'm not sure that I've mastered that yet, but I always like to be in the role where I have to capture people's attention. So hopefully I can build my strength on that and get better at figuring out how to do that and get people interested in what I want to share. And it also tells me that I should get smarter about my word use because oftentimes I just, like, keep talking, trying to express what I want to get across, but I need to find the exact words that I would like to use and like observe my audience and figure out what they react best to and develop my strength based on that. So my second strength is adaptability, and it says, people who are especially talented in the adaptability theme prefer to go with the flow. They tend to be now people who take things as they come and discover the future one day at a time. It says that I realize that each day offers its own surprises, and I think this is probably the strength that resonated with me the most, that I've always kind of realized I had, because, well, I've never really viewed it as a strength. None of these strengths that I was given I've ever really viewed as a strength. I've always kind of thought they were like some of my flaws, but I always like to get things done now, like do whatever's available now. I don't really get caught up in what I haven't finished or what I need to do. I'm just always like doing whatever's thrown at me. And it says that thinkers fuel my imagination, and I think that's definitely true. Sometimes it gets me a little carried away. If I get an idea, then I just like run with it and there's no stopping me. But then I come across the next idea and then I'm done with that one and want to move on with whatever's handed to me. So it says that I should avoid roles that demand structure and predictability. And I think that's definitely true for me because I get bored really easily. I'm a very fickle person, so I need to be able to be flexible and use my imagination and creativity. So that definitely applies to me. My third strength is strategic, and upon hearing this word, I thought I'm not a strategic person at all, because with that I thought of like math and science for some reason, which I guess I was incorrect. That's not the definition of strategic in this case. It says people who are especially talented in the strategic theme create alternative ways to proceed. Faced with any given scenario, they can quickly spot the relevant patterns and issues. And I think that fits with my personality because I never want to have like a set path. This kind of goes back to my adaptability strength, that I'm always willing to change what I'm doing to get to the result. I don't need a set path right from the beginning. And it says that my imagination is stimulated when I collaborate with future-oriented thinkers, and that's definitely, I don't know, when I'm with other people who are excited about the future and want to figure out what's going to happen next, then that encourages me to work ahead and get to where I want to be, rather than negative people who want to know, like if it strays from the path at all, then they're done with it and quit. That's not me at all. It says it's very likely that I'm innovative, inventive, original, and resourceful, and I hope that's true because I want to be an artist, so I need to be pretty original, so I'm glad it said that. Well, yeah, that's all on that. My fourth strength is empathy, and it says people who are especially talented in the empathy theme can sense the feelings of other people by imagining them in others' lives and others' situations. And this has always actually been a really big problem for me because, like, I can't even see someone eat alone at a table without getting really upset and just, like, wanting to help them. I never want anyone to eat alone. I always want to invite them to the table, and my parents are like, no, we can't invite a stranger to eat with us. That's not socially acceptable. But it says, whenever my life or someone else's becomes emotionally barren, I search for people and activities to fill the void, which this is actually something that I do. Like, if I'm struggling or I'm sad, I always try to distract myself with another activity or another person. I can't just sit around and mope. Like, I need to like find something else to fill the void that I have at that moment. And it says that these insights are likely to make me a better educator, and I never thought of that. Well, when I was little, I wanted to be a teacher, but I never took that seriously. But I guess when I do teach someone something, it makes me feel really good about myself that I've been able to share that with someone else, which I guess goes along with my communicator strength, that I like to share things with others. And it says, be aware that when your empathy turns to sympathy, others might see you as a bleeding heart. And I think that might be one of my greatest pitfalls, is that I might be way too emotional. Well, I definitely am way too emotional. So I need to be careful of that and make sure that I'm empathizing with people and not getting too emotional about it. So my fifth strength is Activator, and it says people who are especially talented in the Activator theme can make things happen by turning thoughts into actions. They are often impatient. It says, I am energized, not paralyzed by opportunities and possibilities. And that goes along with a lot of my other strengths, that when there's a possibility, I want to move forward with it, and that doesn't scare me. The possibility of new things and new ideas, that excites me and makes me want to work towards it and get what I want. So it says people who interfere with your progress probably irritate you, and that is my biggest pet peeve, people that get in my way. I have to be figuring things out, doing things how I need to do it. If people give me ideas how to change up what I'm doing, that's always helpful, but if someone's trying to stop me, then they need to get out of the way. That's a problem. It says that I should seek work in which you can make your own decisions and act on them, and that would be a good idea because I don't like to take orders from others. It says I learn from real experience and not from sitting around listening to a teacher talk to me or reading a textbook. I need to have a hands-on experience in order to learn from the situation. So those are my 5 strengths, and I think this test was really useful to me because in the past, if I had been asked, what are your strengths and weaknesses, I've never been able to figure out how to articulate what I'm good at, and now it's really useful that I can know what my strengths are, because if I don't know them, then how will anybody else ever be able to tell, because I'm supposed to know myself better than anybody else. So that's all. Thanks for watching.